Hello there, I'm Dark Shades and welcome to my channel. First time you're passing through, you're more than welcome to put the thumbs up, put the thumbs down, don't put the thumbs down if you don't have to, or subscribe and share. I wanted to talk about how to feel beautiful, how to look, how to feel beautiful, because when you think about beauty, it often conjures up image of external beauty. And I'm not talking about external beauty, because who is to say what beauty is? What defines beauty? I mean, what concept of beauty? We have people all over the world that have different concepts of beauty. So it's about how you feel as a beautiful woman. That is what I'm talking about. That's where I'm coming from. Okay, so ask yourself, what makes me feel beautiful? That's the first thing you need to ask yourself. When you, at any time when you feel beautiful, what is it that you've done? What is it about yourself that has made you feel beautiful? That's the first thing. So is it something that you wear? Is it the way you look? Is it what you know, i.e. your intelligence? Is it what you do, i.e. your career and your prospects? Maybe, you do modeling, or maybe you're an actress, or maybe you work with children and you've had a really rewarding day. Does that make you feel beautiful? Do you feel beautiful when someone tells you that you're beautiful? Children have a way of saying, "You're really beautiful," or "You're really pretty." Oh, and you're kind of like, oh. Is that what makes you feel beautiful? Is it how you behave, when you're courteous, respectful, thoughtful? Do you feel beautiful then? So when you're thinking about beauty, it's about how you feel. It's about what you project. It's about what other people perceive as beautiful. Some people, they say you're beautiful. And sometimes it's got nothing to do with your appearance at all. It's because they see something within you that's really special and unique. And then they say, "Oh, you're really beautiful. You're such a beautiful person." When they say you're such a beautiful person, as opposed to "you're beautiful," it's got two different connotations. A beautiful person is your spirit, your aura, and you look beautiful is normally an external thing. So traits of a beautiful woman is confidence, it's certainty, it's stability, it's assertiveness, it's dependability, it's self-reliance, it's self-sufficiency, it's femininity. A lot of women, they're losing their femininity. It's a hard one to say, but yeah, they're losing it. Their womanhood, um, their female essence, intelligence, strength, resilience, and resourcefulness. And let's get back a little bit to this female essence. And I'm not talking about the female essence where they trip up and they're always looking for a man to rescue them. I'm talking about allowing yourself to be enjoyed, allowing yourself to participate, allowing yourself to be sensitive, allowing yourself to be nurturing and caring. That is womanhood. That is female. It's about, caring, giving, those kind of things. All of those things make a woman beautiful. So, conversely, what can make you feel ugly? A lot of people, they're beautiful on the outside and they feel ugly, no matter what you tell them, how they look, how beautiful they look. And we see it all the time. These people who are using collagen, they're using Botox, they're having facelifts, they're having all sorts done to them to make themselves look beautiful in their eyes. Nothing anyone can tell them to make them look beautiful, because they feel ugly inside. And why do they feel ugly? Mostly it's insecurity. It's their past experiences, if they've been abused, neglected, betrayed, You know, those adverse childhood experiences I keep saying about in my video, those can make a woman feel ugly. If she's been raped, if she's been sodomized, if she's been gang raped, or if she's been a victim of human trafficking, if she's a prostitute, if she's, you know, those kind of things, regardless of how beautiful you are on the outside, can make you feel ugly inside. Promiscuous behavior, addictions. I mean, a beautiful woman who's conceptually beautiful on the outside, but who's a drunk and is falling all over the place. That's not a pretty picture. Low self-worth can make you feel ugly. Lack of trust in others. Like I said, all of these things stem from childhood experiences. But lack of trust in others can be a very ugly trait. Not to saying that you're naive and gullible and you believe everything everyone says, but when you question everything, it's not an attractive trait. And that's another way you can feel ugly and actually look ugly on the outside. Some people, when they look at people who are pretty, they can actually see somebody quite ugly because of their behavior. And then that pretty person thinks it's an external thing why people are not drawn to them, and they don't realize it's an internal thing that people aren't drawn to them. It's their behavior. So they're too busy working on the exterior instead of working on the internal part of them. You know, resolving all those childhood traumas, resolving all those things that happened to them, resolving all those disappointments, betrayals, and abandonment, and all of those things that have made them feel unhappy. They can't trust anyone, they're short-tempered, they have no tolerance. All of those things that make them look ugly to an outsider and make them feel ugly inside. So those are the kind of things that they need to address and try to find out, okay, this happened to me at this age, this happened to me at that age. How is that impacting on me today? It's impacting me in some way because I'm behaving out. You know, I'm acting out in, ways that I don't like. I'm snappy. I'm shouting. I'm, accusatory. I'm dominating. So we also have, like I said, hypersensitivity. You can be hypersensitive. Any little thing ticks you off. Skepticism, I've talked about that. Mental issues, stubbornness as well, and obstinacy. Those are all unattractive traits that you need to look at. Where are they coming from? It's hard, When you've developed traits over the years, it's very hard to tackle them. But it's about acknowledging them and being aware. And when you find yourself acting out in a way that you don't like, it's about saying to that person, I'm so sorry. This happened, years ago, and I still, it still comes up every now and then. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to snap at you. So every time you catch yourself and you realize what's happening, it's your way of healing and resolving, because you'll be more aware of it the next time. So what can make you look ugly to others? Like I said, greed and gluttony. There's nothing worse than somebody who just wants to take all the time. You go take them to a restaurant and they want the most expensive thing on the menu. They're grabbing everything as though, they're not used to nothing. You take them out and you say, oh, I'd like to treat you to something. They're taking this down and that down and everything. Just greedy. Not an attractive trait. Take them out to a nice restaurant. Oh, I'll have some of that. I'll have some of that. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Like they've never seen food before. Greed. And if they had their own money, they wouldn't be buying it. Selfishness is a very ugly trait. We all have to be selfish to preserve ourselves to a degree, look after ourselves, I mean. But it's selfishness in the sense of meanness and having and not wanting to share and that kind of stuff. Obstinacy. I smile because I can be bloody selfish sometimes. Obstinacy is an ugly trait. Manipulative. Nobody likes somebody who's manipulative because people know when you're manipulating them. People think they're being so slick when they're manipulating people, but it's an ugly trait and people can tell when you're manipulating them. Lack of confidence, insecurity, those are both ugly traits to people on the outside. Women who were born beautiful have been made to feel ugly because they have been manipulated by men who are shallowed and unfulfilled in some cases. These are the ones who have been abused by men. They've been influenced by predators, manipulative men who haven't proven themselves, narcissistic, arrogant, promiscuous, and denigrating men. So you do have women who are physically beautiful. I mean, when you think about Marilyn Monroe and what she went through, physically beautiful, but had a raw deal with men. And a lot of women who are physically beautiful have had a hard time. So it's about not being naive and gullible, but being discerning and aware and conscious and taking your time. Don't let anybody push you into anything. Sometimes when men see a beautiful woman, they just want to push them into a relationship really quickly. And it's about saying, hold on a minute. No. What's the rush? What's the rush? And take your time. Do things at your own pace. Because what sometimes happens is that people who rush, it's because they're hiding something usually. They don't want you to see the real them. So they want to get you in while the going's good. Okay, so certain things, and then a beautiful woman, her presence will dictate her beauty. And we're not talking about physical beauty. We're talking about a beautiful character, a beautiful personality. So her presence will dictate how beautiful she is. She'll be tolerant, but she will not tolerate anything that is undeserving of her, i.e. disrespect, abuse, that kind of stuff. She'll have some non-negotiable traits, which are dishonesty. She will not tolerate deception, infidelity, laziness, lack of purpose, and people who lack ambition. A woman who is beautiful and who respects herself, she'll want for herself what she feels she deserves. And you do have women who feel, who are, I don't want to say uppity women, but you have some women who have these high expectations and they feel they deserve, some really, really good men, and yet they've got nothing to bring to the table. I'm not talking about those. Because you do get women who talk, I'm not disrespecting anybody in a council flat, but you'll get women who live in a council flat, but they want to marry a film star in California. And I'm not even saying they can't do that, because I remember, me and my little memories, I remember I had a friend, and we just used to live in northwest London at the time, because we're Londoners, living in northwest London, and she always wanted to meet Luther Vandross, and I'm like, how the hell is she gonna meet Luther Vandross? You know what I mean? He was her idol, and she said, if the last thing I do, I'm going to meet Luther Vandross and spend time in his company. So she didn't just want to meet him, not like she just wanted to go to his shows. She actually wanted to meet him. She didn't know he was gay at the time. So it just so happened one time we were in America, and Luther Vandross was appearing somewhere. So we go off to his show, and we're all there watching the show, enjoying the show. When the show finished, she says, I'm going to his dressing room. I said, you're not going to be allowed in his dressing room. But she was a very beautiful woman. She had that kind of Diana Ross quality. So she goes, I'm going to his dressing room. Anyway, off she goes off. I said, I'm not bloody going. Because number one, I weren't that interested. But number two, I thought, I ain't going to be rejected and pushed out. Anyway, next thing you know, she's in his bloody dressing room. One of his bodyguards come and gets me. I don't know how he knew where I was. I don't know if she showed him or whatever. Next thing you know, we're in his dressing room and she's there talking to him. So, yeah, on the one hand, it's not about your humble beginnings that can take away, that stops you from dreaming or stops you from being beautiful. It's about how determined you are, how passionate you are, how goal-oriented you are, as opposed to just sitting back, not doing anything and expecting this man on a white horse to come and rescue you from your circumstances. You'd have to be doing, you'd have to be active, you'd have to be doing something. And that's what I mean. I mean, she was a Taurus. I'll bring that in because Taurus are very, very stubborn and determined. And she was true to her traits. And I'll never ever forget that. She actually met Luther Vandross. And we were two little Londoners at the time. We both had our little council flats. Anything is possible. But the traits need to be there. She had the confidence. She had the determination. She felt as though she was beautiful. She felt as though she had a right. She didn't feel as though she was less than. And yeah, met Luther Vandross before he died and before she died. She's deceased now. Bless her soul. So, what are the standards that you set for yourself? You know your self-worth. You know your confidence. And you demand your price. In that particular case, all she wanted to do was meet Luther Vandross. What defines you? Are you defined by who you hang around with, who you know, your job, relationships? No one should define you, because once they've gone, the job's gone, your partner's gone, your relationship is gone. Who are you then? If you're a mother, a wife, a sibling, and God forbid the whole family is wiped out, who do you then become? So you can't be defined through third parties. You have to self-define yourself. So that's all a part of knowing your worth, I think. When you are beautiful, you know your worth. Never accept less than what you deserve, and everybody deserves respect, and they deserve love, they deserve appreciation, and they deserve, can't think of the other one I had in mind. But anyway, so don't compromise those elements. Respect. Oh, I've only got one now. It's gone right in my head. Anyway, let me see now. You have some women and they say, oh, who's going to want me at this age? I can't get anyone at this age. I've just got to take anything. And you have women who think like that. So it doesn't matter. And these type of women, they don't care if the man's intelligent. They don't care if he's not well brought up. They don't care if he's an ex-convict. They don't care if he's a gambler, an alcoholic, or a womanizer. They just want a body in a house to keep them company while they're aging. I think that's quite sad, because a lot of those relationships end up destructive. They're not healthy. Sometimes if they're both depend on a mutual need, sometimes they can work out, because they become codependent. So sometimes they can work out. Some codependent relationships works out. But I'm not quite sure how healthy it is when you have the mindset that I'm not good enough because of my age, or because of my race, or because of my gender, or because of whatever. It's not a good foundation to build a relationship off of. You have to be happy, and you can't think about, too many people think about age, and I can understand why, because you feel as though you fall into bits, and you're kind of thinking, who's going to tolerate me fall into bits? And a lot of women, talk about, oh, am I going to be able to do this? And the thing is, when you think about relationships, you're supposed to be able to help each other, aren't you? And I think subconsciously, when people get older, they wonder how they're going to help their partner, because they haven't got the same strength. It's not like you can help them move around the furniture and you can do the things that you could have done when you're younger. So your needs are different. But I really think that as you get older, your needs are different. I don't think you need to be thinking about moving stuff around and doing things that you would have done when you were younger. I think you should be thinking about having a quality relationship, good company, eating together, cooking together, even if it's a bloody takeaway, if you don't want to stand up in the kitchen. It's about having that special time together. And I think the needs change as you get older. So never ever say that you, what did I say? No man will want you at that age or at this age. Because you're telling yourself you're not attractive. You're telling yourself you're not beautiful when you make that statement. And it is about bringing out the best in both people and having a loving relationship, because that's all people want. People just want a loving relationship. They want somebody they can talk to, they can put their arm around, they can spoon, they can play tootsie with, have something to eat with. That's what people want, the simple things in life. And as you get older, the demands are less. So don't give up, girls. What else? Have the ability to reject less than you deserve. And I think, okay, the last bit is trusting others is not easy. Like I said, if you've had a challenging childhood, there is a myth that if you've lacked love in your past, support, if you haven't had a healthy upbringing, if you've been abused and raped and all those kind of things, that, your future is doomed. But you can't say that. Look at Toni Morrison, look at Maya Angelou, look at Oprah Winfrey. So you can't say that because you've been through all of those bad things, you can't have a happy future. You can. All those three women are loved by their men. They're married, they've got a successful lifestyle. And yeah, those are extremes, but it can happen to anyone. It's your mindset that determines what you deserve, not your circumstances, not your past. So all you need to do is understand your past, have the courage to explore why it happened. If you feel you had a role in it, why do you think you had that role in it? But you're not chastising it. You're not coming from a place of judgment. You're just coming from a place of acceptance and understanding. So you can move on from it. Real recovery comes from facing it head on, not by avoiding, suppressing, or denying what's happened. You need to engage in your painful past. And sometimes it is difficult, because sometimes you start getting all emotional and you have to kind of calm it down, and then you bring it up again. So build connections with people who have gone through what you have gone through. Like, they have these networks, don't they? They have domestic abuse women, and they have victims of honour violence. They have little groups. They have Alcoholics Anonymous. They have all these groups. So whatever you've been through, there's a group for it. So engage with those type of people. Ensure that you're not alone with your pain of the past, so it's always good to have people you can talk to about it. Maintain healthy relationships that can heal your pain. And so that's why it's so important to choose wisely when you're choosing a partner. You know, in order to feel beautiful, you need a man who makes you feel beautiful, who tells you you are beautiful, you know, who's good, who's kind. You know, it's very, very important. And then that helps you to heal as well. But if you get some of these men who, you know, you don't feel so great anyway, and then you take on somebody who's going to abuse you or take you for granted or whatever, you're never going to heal, because all you're doing is reinventing the wheel. And that's not going to make you feel beautiful. So anyway, this will help you build trust, and if you follow some of my little tips, it should help you build trust in yourself, build trust in others, and help you to feel just a little tad beautiful, more beautiful than you felt before you watched the video. And that's all for now. Bye-bye.